Welcome to MarketPod, your weekly pit stop for all things digital marketing. I'm Anoop, your friendly voice in the marketing maze. Join me as we chat about trends, untangle the web of new tech, and become masters of the marketing craft. We will crack the growth code together. Get ready for practical tips, inspiring stories, and real insights to boost your digital marketing journey. This is MarketPod, brought to you by Yearsong Digital. Let's dive in. Marketing strategy and marketing plan. In the marketing world, you will often see these two terms being used interchangeably. And I have been explaining this to a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, I don't hold anything against the people who do it because a majority of even the decision makers do it. Entry-level marketers think it's the same thing, and sometimes marketing managers don't have a clue. So, let me clarify on this podcast the difference between marketing strategy and marketing plan. And trust me, it's not a fine line. So let's start with definitions. A marketing strategy is the overarching approach that a business takes to achieve its marketing goals while focusing on the target audiences, value propositions, and competitive advantages. It takes into account micro and macro elements like vision of the business, the current trend in the market, and then finalizes which marketing campaign or multiple campaigns should be launched. And strategy is all about the end result, which is at times revenue, or it can be more like brand awareness or some other goal. A marketing plan, on the other hand, is the roadmap of specific actions, timelines, and resources required to execute that strategy. In simple words, when it comes to roles, both these terms separate the strategists and taskmasters. And there's a reason why these two are generally used interchangeably, because small teams generally do not have a very structured approach to marketing, and the do fast, fail fast approach is their goal initially. But when you grow, it becomes very important for a business to structure themselves and prioritize which activities they should focus, whether they need to add more team members or leverage different marketing channels. And at that time, the key to success lies in meticulously translating a strategy into a detailed marketing plan. By that, I mean the plan needs to have clearly defined goals like KPIs, key performance indicators, and KRAs, key responsibility areas, for each team member. So what needs to be done, by who, and when. And in this podcast, I'll show you how to achieve this. We'll be using the example of a very early stage e-commerce fashion store that has a very lean marketing team. So I'll just include one digital content marketer and then a decision maker like the CEO or founder yourself. Okay, so the strategy would be to increase millennial purchase on the e-commerce store by 15% within 6 months. Let's say that. Now, let's say your e-commerce store has inventory of women apparels and accessories, and your USP is the fusion of latest women fashion trends with eco-friendly materials and ethical manufacturing practices. I think that is the trend nowadays. And your brand positioning is to leverage the fact that more than 70% of millennials are willing to pay more if the product positions itself as an environment-friendly product. Now, each generation, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, boomers, all have different spending patterns for online shopping. Their purchasing powers vary, and I'm only going to take the average and not talk about the extremes of the scales. So, statistically, almost 1/3 of overall purchases made by millennials are influenced by social media. And there are other things involved as well, like they prefer debit cards as compared to generations that tilt more towards cash on delivery or credit cards. So, as an e-commerce fashion store, let's say you plan to increase number of millennial sales by 15% in the next 2 quarters. As I said, you have your own website and you have listed your product on third-party e-commerce stores. If it's in US, let's say Amazon, Walmart, Target, or if it's in India, it could be on Flipkart, Meesho, and obviously Amazon India. So, for this strategy, what would the marketing plan look like? So let's go there one by one. Number one, there has to be a data-driven selection and USP placement. You can utilize your own website analytics to identify how millennials interact on your website and the search intent for the types of apparel categories that they visit. And then focus on how to place your USP. Like, you can use CTAs and banners on the listing page, on the checkout page that emphasizes your USP, making the purchase more rewarding and satisfactory for the millennials. Now, second thing, you need to plan where and how you will place these messages and what would it look like in terms of design, copies, and obviously number of times users will see those CDAs. What you can get started with right away. Third thing would be creation and distribution. You can create a series of short, engaging videos showcasing your brand's commitment to environment friendliness and how are you ensuring it. You can also feature brand behind the scenes, how the making of these products look like. And you can then distribute these stories on your listing pages, across your social platforms where millennials spend most of their time, like Instagram or even TikTok if you're in US. And you can collaborate with some of the fashion influencers on these platforms to promote or try out your product and share their reviews. Next would be customer experience. No matter how good your pitch, positioning, and partnerships are, at the end of the day, if your ratings are below 4, there's a high chance that you are losing on more customers than you're making. So make sure that you are going high on those positive reviews. Especially in retail or e-commerce segments, seamless shopping experience and after sales across all channels, online, in-store, or on third-party platforms is quintessential. I can't find a better word to stress more on it. And for that, obviously, you need to use consistent branding and personalized marketing messages. But the same communication needs to happen when someone purchases a product and in case they have any issues with it, post-purchase. And it's really not that hard to have a WhatsApp business account, or you can just email or call your initial customers to check if they're happy with their purchase and to let them know that, hey, you can reach out to us if you face any issues instead of writing a bad review on a public platform. What you can do more is you can have your TNCs, return policies, warranties clearly mentioned and not hidden inside a toggle, because many brands have tried doing this, and I don't want to attract a defamation lawsuit, but to put it in a subtle manner, we know this leads to a Twitter trend or a Reddit thread or lots of YouTube videos and not the good ones. Okay, on a side note, apparel is a very saturated industry because unless you have a USP or you are heavily funded, the chances are you will try to do hundreds of things and just leave them halfway because you see that they are not getting you quick wins. And that is a really bad idea, especially if you have a small team. And if you want to do all the above things without a timeline, you will only get frustrated because none of them will work individually for you to achieve your strategic goal. So what you need to do as a part of digital marketing plan is that you need to have one specialist, a digital marketing specialist, and his or her KRAs or KPIs should be specific and most importantly, concise. Just for explanation purpose, let's say you plan to go ahead with influence marketing on Instagram. So on an average, I categorize influencers into 4 types: nano, micro, power, and celebrity. So nano influencers have 500 to 5,000 followers. Micro influencers have anywhere between 5K to 30K. Power has 30K to 500K, and above 500K are basically celebrities. And their fee will be different for Instagram post, video, and story. So 3 types of influencers content, right? Let's say for your brand, you plan to reach out to all 4 categories of influencers for all 3 types of content per influencer. So that would be 1 post, 1 story, 1 video from nano, micro, power, and celebrity. In this case, you are looking at around $8,000 budget or 6.5 lakh rupees for your campaign. I know this sounds a lot, but here's a table that you can pause to see how I came up with this number. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, I'll ensure to attach the link of the blog in the description where you can check out the table containing the average cost of content type for each influencer category. And based on your budget, the target segment, the influencer you choose, the number of influencers you have on your campaign, and obviously your negotiation skills, this number, the end number will differ. While we are on the influencer marketing topic, there's a surprise guest who will be joining us for the next podcast. And in that one, we'll be diving deeper into the influencer referral and affiliate marketing. So hit the subscribe button if you want to stay updated. and follow the podcast platform wherever you are listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, if you are not following Market Pod yet. And I'm particularly interested in the people who are listening to this on Alexa. You know who you are. Thanks a lot, though. Okay, Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. Coming back to the point, statistically, influencer marketing gets you around 5x ROI. But the minimum I've seen has been around 50% ROI, which means you are making 1.5 bucks for every $1 you invested. You'll have to do this math for your own brand. And with influencer marketing, you can easily launch a profitable campaign as long as it's a good product. Now, when it comes to your internal team, as I said before, while you will be investing in influencer marketing, you still need to do a lot of other stuff in the background. Most important one will be prepping up your listings before you launch the campaign. So, if you have one digital marketer or one content person, as I mentioned before, their weekly KRAs could be like one day, write 4 product descriptions for 4 products, and using AI tools like GPT-4 or Gemini 1.5, replicate it on third-party platforms according to the text required on those platforms. Another day, click on and edit high-definition photos that will go along with your product. Next day, the third day, upload or revise your product listings, and that day will also be good for incorporating feedback from you and other team members. The rest 2 days or 1 day, if you are a 4-day working company, they can work on creating Instagram Reels or TikTok videos. And if you plan to do influencer marketing, reach out to influencers so they can start working on the content when you are almost done with your listings. Now, you can do the final activity even 1 month before the product pages are ready and dedicate your this time to add more product descriptions. If you follow this plan, within 1 month, you will have 16 great product listings and at least 4 in-house videos. Continue this for 1 quarter, that is 3 months, you'll have around 48 or 50 high-quality product listings and 12 videos on your social handles. And then on the first week of the 4th month, you can ask influencers to publish their content and your campaign starts all at once for maximum result. With this preparation, when viewers land on your social handles or product listing pages, they will see the same quality that was promised by the influencers, and that will set the grounds for you to get your ROI. Here's a side note. For a small team, it is really important for you as a leader to have the right balance of weightage in analyzing the performance of your team. So, how much should it be revenue-oriented and what portion should be activity-oriented or operations-oriented? And if you need help with this, please feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can visit my website, anupyersong.com, and schedule a meeting with me so we can discuss how to create a winning marketing strategy and a plan for you. But fact of the matter is, the maths of strategy and measuring the efficiency of your campaign needs to be pre-planned. If you're doing it for the very first time, you can take industry standards like I did when I said this strategy will achieve a 15% increase in online sales from millennial customers within the next 3 quarters, or it could be something different. Now, this number could be based on your current visitors or the existing footfall and the influencers you are partnering with. And at the end of the campaign, you have to do the performance analysis of your marketing strategy and see where your strategy or plan needs optimization. If there's a lack of impressions, then it's the choice of influencer or the content that those influencers are publishing. If there are visitors on your listing page and engagement is low, you need to check the content quality of your product listing pages. And if the engagement is there and conversions are not happening, then placement of CTA could be the issue. And you can track all of this through the third-party listing dashboards or using your own website's event trackers. Let me give you another example of a marketing strategy. So, again, if you have the budget, you can launch campaign for your e-commerce store, like having virtual try-ons on your website or mobile app. Maybe implement an augmented reality feature, allowing customers to virtually try on clothes or accessories from their homes. And that will bridge the gap between online shopping and in-store experience. And you will save a ton of money and have a lot of returns. Now, by this return, I'm not talking about people who are returning your product. I know I have returned a lot of t-shirts that didn't look good on me. after I tried them. And frankly, all of this could have been avoided. If you do this, then it is going to help the influencers promote your brand and a great experience for the visitors. All of this gives you yet another value proposition, which is e-commerce fashion space is a major differentiator, as I said before. One of the companies that have perfected it would be tryandbuy.com. So you can check it out as well for reference. Now, this strategy sounds amazing on paper, right? However, it requires a very detailed planning. So before you incorporate the strategy, it would be strongly recommended to have a solid plan and a good cash flow. And I think we all know business is always going to be a chicken and egg situation, and there are risks, but they have to be calculated risks. So things that you will need to check before would be something like, will doing it on your own website make sense, or should you partner up with companies like Try and Buy? Because statistically it works. In fact, Myntra, one of the biggest e-commerce companies in India, which is acquired by Flipkart, whose majority stakes are owned by Walmart. I mean, it's fascinating to know how corporate world operates. Anyway, so Myntra published a blog in mid-December 2023, last year, where they claimed that on their platform, average considerations by visitors increased by 150% and conversions doubled with the virtual try-on feature of their beauty products after they incorporated it. But again, as I said, it depends on where your business stands right now and what are your priorities. Fact of the matter is, once you run campaigns like these and you expand your team, you can then work on bigger projects like the virtual try-ons, because it will require more granular KRAs. For instance, if you are outsourcing the entire project, you would like to assign KRAs for the external agency, or if you're doing it internally, then it will need technical product management, because it will require things like data privacy checks, 3D modeling, like setting up detection zones, animations, and whatnots. If you have a dedicated social media team, you can set KPIs for social media impressions or replies, queries, and leads that are originating from the social sources. Then, if you have a dedicated website management or content team, then you can set KPIs for different purchase points like number of product views or impressions, cart ads, and obviously the purchases. Then if you have a retention or customer experience stream, you can use repeat purchases and reviews on third-party platforms, or CX metrics like CSAT and Net Promoter Score, which is known as NPS. But to set these KPIs, please note, I'm talking about KPIs and not KRAs here. You need data to ensure that you are setting achievable goals. And to get this data, you need to launch that campaign. Because no matter how much you look at industry trends, at the end of the day, strategy revolves around some estimations. Now, the best option is to have your own data sets to work on and then build KPIs. Or you can choose industry standards which are based on the surveys done on a specific sample. And if you plan to choose that result as your KPI, just make sure that you're reading the full report and that the sample size is actually relevant for you. And goes without saying, but your business is unique in its own way. And you have your own strengths and weaknesses. And successful businesses are the ones that know where they stand, which strategies they need to create for more opportunities, and how they can achieve them using a practical plan. So the closing statement is very simple. Can we now please stop using marketing strategy and marketing plan interchangeably? Thanks for tuning into MarketPod. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Stay connected for more trends, tech talk, and growth hacks. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, shoot us a message on our socials. This is Anup signing off. Till next time, stay curious, stay creative, and stay marketing savvy. Cheers.